Let's be real, going through a divorce is incredibly difficult. And one of the biggest challenges is figuring out how to divide property fairly. So today, we're going to clear up one of the most critical decisions you'll face in this whole process: how to choose the right appraiser.
So, what's the actual secret to a fair property settlement? I mean, how do you make sure the outcome is equitable without just adding a ton more stress to your life?
Well, you might be surprised to hear that it often boils down to one single thing: the expert you hire to value your property. Their skill, their integrity, that's absolutely pivotal.
Okay, so if this person is so important, where do you even begin to look? Let's walk through the first step, just building that initial list of potential candidates.
Your first stop, and honestly, your best bet, is your divorce lawyer. Think about it. They've been in these legal trenches before. They know exactly which appraisers write reports that are, battle-tested and can hold up under serious legal scrutiny. That's a huge, huge advantage.
Your next move? Head online and check out the major professional organizations. Groups like the American Society of Appraisers or the Appraisal Institute have these fantastic searchable databases. It's an easy way to find credentialed pros right in your area, and you know they already meet a pretty high standard.
All right, so now you've got a list of names, but how do you sort through it and figure out who's actually good? That brings us to the vetting process. And trust me, there are few things that are completely non-negotiable.
First up, the absolute basics. Make sure they have a current state license and active certifications. But here is the real game changer. You need a specialist. A general real estate appraiser just won't cut it. You need someone who specifically specializes in matrimonial property valuation. Why? Because they know the unique legal rules that come with a divorce case.
And that brings us to maybe the single most important trait of all: neutrality. The appraiser has to be a completely impartial third party. Any connection at all to you or your spouse, no matter how tiny it seems, can totally compromise their assessment and open the door for it to be challenged later.
Just think of it like this. Neutrality is non-negotiable. That independence is what protects the integrity of their assessment and gives their final report its power. A totally unbiased valuation is just so much harder for anyone to argue with, whether you're in negotiations or in a courtroom. It's your best shield against disputes.
Look, a general appraiser is perfect if you're buying or selling a house, but a divorce specialist? They create what's called a defensible report. It's a document that's specifically built to meet court requirements and, if it comes to it, to withstand a tough cross-examination. It's a whole different ballgame.
So, you've got your vetted list of specialists. Now it's time to actually talk to them. This is the interview process, and it's where you're going to get a real sense of who's the best fit for you.
I'm going to give you a really simple rule of thumb here. Interview at least 3. Please, don't just go with the first person you talk to. Talking to a few lets you compare not just what they charge, but their whole approach, their level of experience, and frankly, just how comfortable you feel with them.
And when you talk to them, don't just ask about the price. You've got to dig deeper. Ask them, what's your track record with divorce cases? That tells you if they're a real specialist. What's your valuation methodology? This shows you if their process is solid. And the big one, do you have experience testifying in court? That tells you if they can defend their work when the pressure's on. I know, this is a lot of information to juggle. The best way to keep it all straight is to use a simple tool, like this little comparison grid. It just helps you organize your notes so you can make a decision based on facts, not just a gut feeling. It keeps the whole thing objective. And of course, don't forget to do a little online digging. Check the reviews on sites like Google or Yelp, but read them with a critical eye, okay? You're not looking for one single bad review or one perfect 5-star rating. What you're looking for are patterns. Patterns in what people say about their communication, their professionalism, and whether they get things done on time. Okay, we're getting close. You've done your homework, you've conducted your interviews, and you're probably leaning toward one candidate. But before you pull the trigger, there are just a few final checkpoints to run through. These last little details are so important. Does their availability actually work with your case's timeline? Is their fee structure crystal clear? And more importantly, is it in writing? How's their communication? Being transparent and professional in these small things is a really strong sign of how they'll be to work with overall. And let me just say this one more time because it's that important. Local knowledge is everything. An appraiser who really truly understands your specific neighborhood, the trends, the little quirks, is going to produce a much more accurate valuation. And that local insight, that accuracy, is what produces a valuation that's less likely to be disputed later on. So, when you boil it all down, it really just comes down to these 3 keys to success. You need verifiable expertise in divorce cases,
unquestionable neutrality, and deep, deep local knowledge. If you can find an appraiser who ticks all three of those boxes, you have seriously increased your chances of a fair outcome.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. The entire point of this whole careful process is to be able to answer this question with a confident yes. Is your property valuation built to withstand scrutiny? Because at the end of the day, a valuation that can do that is the foundation of a fair settlement.